Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Sal Says What Friday Comics Roundup. I've got a nice stack of comics that have come from the gender and comics class that's going on online. A lot of people who are into comics, who are on the internet, are aware of it, taking it. My girlfriend Tiffany is one of them, and as a perk, I get to read the comic books that she ordered, and I got to catch up on that I might have missed out on back in the day. And we're going to talk about 3 of those right now. So the first one I want to talk about is Secret Six, written by Gail Simone, art by Nicola Scott and Doug Hazelwood. It takes a motley crew of bad guys and makes them kind of into mercenary type good guy. It's basically Thunderbolts. It's DC's Thunderbolts. And this did not speak to me. I really wanted to get into it, and I found myself just not really clicking with the material. I could not identify with any of the characters. I was not really interested in any of the characters, which can be good, actually. You can take relatively underutilized characters and make them into really interesting characters, mostly because they don't have much of a fan base to piss off, so you can really take some daring steps with them. With this case, I just did not give a shit about anything that happened. Even though it had a really engaging opening, I just didn't find myself clicking or interested. There was this MacGuffin that they were trying to get, and it just did not hold my attention. So I'm going to give this one 2 out of 5 little houses. But anyway, I hate to give it to this rating because it's so well received, it's so highly rated. People love this book, and apparently that's like a theme of my show, is that, oh, do you have a critically acclaimed book? Well, I found it to be kind of crappy. And the truth is, I don't find it crappy. I don't not like Secret Six. I just didn't connect with the material, and I that's really the basis that I use for my enjoyment of books. I look for them for the enjoyment. I don't read them for value, for collection, for looking austere and interesting. I just like comics, and the comics I don't like, I give low ratings to. It's just the nature of the beast. But Secret Six is I can see why people dig this book. I can see it, just not for me. So 2 out of 5. The next book I want to talk about is Superman Birthright, writing by Mark Waid and art by Leinil Yu. This was a retelling of Superman's origin story. It came out a while back and has been retconned, I think, 2 times since then. But this was considered to be one of the most definitive origin stories of the modern age for Superman. And I can see why. It really kind of brings the Clark Kent origin story into the modern era. The art is very interesting, and I say that because it does not feel like a Superman book when I'm reading it. It just does not feel like Superman, despite the fact that it is a classic Superman tale. Mark Waid's writing is, of course, spot on and crackerjack. I'm not really that big on the superfluous characters that he has. His Jonathan Kent really kind of loses me. But his Superman, his Clark Kent, his Lois Lane, particularly his Lois Lane, are spot on. I really love the relationship that he develops and cultivates between Clark Kent and Lois Lane in this comic. It's really kind of interesting and harkens back to the relationship we all know and love without making it trite or retreading old material in a boring way. Story itself, I feel like it's a little bloated, to be honest. I don't think it really needed this many issues. It doesn't need to be this thick to tell the story you told with Superman Birthright. That being said, interesting retcon, really interesting story. I love the book ending of this story. I love how it begins and how it ends. I won't tell you what it is, despite the fact the book's been out for a really long while, but I will tell you I love how his book ended. It really, that's when it hit me. I saw where Waid was trying to lure me in emotionally, and I just was like, I'm not connecting, I'm not clicking, Mark. And then all of a sudden, boom, ending, whole thing comes together. I've heard some people describing Grant Morrison's All-Star Superman in the same way, where you read it and you're kind of like, this is really interesting, but I'm not sure that I get it, I'm not sure that I'm connecting with it, and then all of a sudden, you're finished and you go, whoa, this really blew my mind. It all clicks and all comes together. I feel like this clicks and comes together a little bit better, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to give this one 4 out of 5 little houses. 4 out of 5 little houses for Superman Birthright by Mark Waid and Leinil Yu. Good job. It's too bad that it has been retconned, like I said, probably 2 times since then. The next book I want to talk about, the last book actually, is a comic that I was really excited about when I first heard about it. I saw a teaser for it and immediately loved it, picked up the first issue, and barely finished. I'm not quite sure yet why that was, but anyway, the book I'm talking about is the collected first volume of Captain Marvel, written by Kelly Sue DeConnick and drawn by a whole mess of characters. I wanted to love issue 1 when it first came out, and I could not bring myself to love it. And I think it might have been the art that was pushing me, but I just didn't seem to really get engaged into the story. And I'm really glad that Tiffany picked up the first volume, because after having read the first, I just said, you know what, I gotta soldier through it. This is one of the few big two titles with a female protagonist that is not in any way tied to male protagonists. She's not Spider-Man's girlfriend. She's not Captain America's sidekick. She's not even a leader of the Avengers. She's just a superhero in the Marvel Universe, and she's got her own title. And she finally has a title that doesn't really debase her, doesn't make her into a woman, doesn't call her Ms. Marvel, doesn't call her, female, whatever. It's just Captain Marvel. And it makes the most sense for Marvel, since they have to legally put out books called Captain Marvel every couple of years to keep the title. But the story itself, I finally really connected with. It took about an issue and a half for me to get into it, but once the time travel element came in, you got me, because I am a sucker for time travel. But that being said, the character of Carol Danvers, I'm a fan of. I kind of like her. I read the first volume of Ms. Marvel with Brian Reed, and I could not really get into that at all at any point. And I think it was her motivation. I think it was the character's motivation and the writer's idea of how Carol Danvers was going to become a mainstream character. I felt like it was really forced. With Captain Marvel, despite its flashiness, its showiness, its deliberate attempt to be noticed and be big, I just genuinely enjoyed the story, and I really like the character. I mean, I'm interested to see where Carol Danvers is going to go, and I was really happy to go along the ride with her. She goes through a period of reflection and self-discovery, and I got to go on that journey with her and discover her along with her. I want to give it 5 out of 5, but I'm not going to, and I'll tell you why. The art is inconsistent, and I'll say that because not only does the artist change every couple of issues, but I don't feel like any of the artists really nail the look that the book is going for. Tonally, I don't feel like the artists are doing the book justice. By the way, I haven't read Volume 2. I don't know where we're going yet, but I'm sure that they've probably made a decision as far as a mainstay artist, and I'm looking forward to seeing where that is. But I will have to hold true to my feelings and give it a 4 out of 5 Little Houses for Captain Marvel. I really like the book. I recommend it to all, and I think it's worth checking out. So those are the 3 books. They're from the Gender and Comics class. They're over a period of weeks that Tiffany will be engaging in discussion and analysis and reading, and I really wanted to get into that a little bit more because I didn't get a chance to read them the first time. So I wanted to talk about Strangers in Paradise, but I don't have enough time. So we will see you next time, next week probably, since I was going to do this as like a everyday kind of thing, and then do the comics roundup on Fridays as kind of like a wrap-up. But I found that I'm actually more interested in talking about this, and I'm actually more consistent if I do once a week. So with that in mind, I will see you guys next week. Thanks a lot for watching. Recommend me, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do. I don't care. I just don't want to do watching the show, and engage yourself in discussion. Engage me. Talk to me on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, the website, littlehouseentertainment.com. We will see you next time on Sal Says What on the Friday Comics Roundup. See you next time. I dropped the little, like, blips of the little houses because I felt like, you get it. If I say the number, you can hear it and then retain it in your brain. So we'll just assume that that's unnecessary.